Hey everyone, this is Charles with the Pampered Chef Merced. I'm here to show you today a new recipe that I found on the internet. Really easy, really simple. It's almost like a hamburger helper without having to go and buy the box. So it's a Korean beef recipe. I really recommend doing this recipe with the fried rice recipe that I've also have as a video on YouTube. You can serve this any way you want. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you real quickly how just to make the beef part, and then however you want to incorporate that, whether you want to turn those into sloppy joe mixes or some type of enchilada, or you want to just throw it on a bed of rice, perfect. So what we're going to do first is we got to get our pan nice and hot. I'm using one of the Pampered Chef these really nice executive pans. These things are awesome. When they say non-stick, they're non-stick. I have left pasta in here overnight and still cleaned it out the next day, and it's just one or two swipes and it's white again. I mean, look it. I use this thing almost every night. Come on now. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to get us a tablespoon sesame seed oil, and these Pampered Chef measuring cups right here, these things are really handy dandy. It's everything in one. If you look at it, I use a tablespoon, but they go all the way up to I'm sorry, I use a teaspoon, but they go all the way up to tablespoons. So all you do is you just adjust it to however big you want it to do. Isn't that nifty? It takes away having a whole stack of these things on just this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to let the oil heat up. A little sesame seed oil, one teaspoon. Kind of mix it around in our pan. What we want to do is we want to get the garlic going. So I'm going to take the garlic press, and I got about three good sized cloves of garlic, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to smash down on this thing. And this is going to press that garlic out perfect. When you start this off, you want to make sure that your pan isn't extremely hot, because it will instantly burn pretty much everything. Just keep it on a low medium heat. Let the garlic kind of sweat itself out inside of the oil. Kind of move it around in there, and then you take this little bottom piece and you scrape it off. You know, this thing's wonderful. You don't have to sit there and chop garlic all the time. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get us a pound of ground beef. And like I said, it's basically just like a hamburger helper. We're just going to kind of throw some hamburger meat in there, and we're going to kick up the heat, and we're just going to complement it with a bunch of good stuff. Stuff that you probably already have up in your cupboard. So what we're going to do is we're going to break this all up. Cleanliness is next to godliness. Make sure your hands are always clean. You know, you don't want to gross anybody out. So basically what we're going to do is we got our ground beef going, and we're going to let that just basically simmer. We're going to let it brown. We don't really want to cook it all the way, but we're just going to let it brown for a minute. Okay, so our ground beef is now browned off. I just got it sitting in the pan. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to grab a couple of ingredients. We're going to simmer it just for probably about, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes until you feel that it's kind of, you know, at the consistency that you like. And then boom, you're done. That's it. That's dinner. I mean, you're good to go. So what we have first is, what you want to do is you want to drain off just a little bit of the fat, whatever the oil that's left with the pan. You want to save some of it. But not too much. So you don't even have to take it out and smash it and drain it and then put it in the bag. This is all just in the one pan. You don't have to do much of anything. So what we're going to do first is we're going to add a half a cup of brown sugar. I mean, it wouldn't be Korean food if it didn't have some type of sweetness to it, right? So we got a half a cup of brown sugar. What you want to do, since it's sugar and it's being heated up, of course it's going to caramelize, it's going to break down. So basically just kind of play with it a little bit, play with your meat a little bit until it gets nice and shiny. Okay. Then what we're going to do is we're going to add us 1/4 of a cup of soy sauce. And the same thing, just kind of work it around, just get those flavors in there. Okay. Now what we got next is an equal portion of everything that I'm going to put in. It's 1 teaspoon. So I have 1 teaspoon of ginger. Now you can use, I use ginger powder because it was what was more convenient to me, but you can get fresh ginger. Ginger is very good for your health. You can get that at any farmer's market, any local grocery store. So you want 1 teaspoon of ginger. You have a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of pepper, and then a teaspoon of chilies. These were some special homegrown chilies locally. So they're kind of maybe a little bit more spicier than what you'd probably buy at the store. But hey, you know your threshold better than anybody else. Whatever chilies you like to have, that's going to give that spicy little kick. So what we're going to do is after I portion it all up, we're going to mix it, and we're just going to sprinkle it all in there. And the same as the last other sets, we're just going to work it around. You'll see it start to boil. It'll start to, you can see it kind of cooking in there. What you want to do is, like I said, is maybe reduce the heat down with the sugar inside there and the soy sauce. Basically, it's going to reduce itself down, so it's going to end up being more of a glaze. You can serve it right away, right off the pan, just like this. It might be a little bit more runnier, but the longer you figure the longer it sits, the thicker it's going to get. So, and even if you like it really thick, you can always add flour or water, some cornstarch, whatever. So what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to cover this, I'm going to turn off my heat, and then I'm going to start preparing whatever else I'm going to make that's going to go along with this. I highly recommend doing the fried rice recipe that I do have on my YouTube, and it just makes it quick and easy. Fry the rice, throw the beef on top, put a fork in it, serve it to the family, you're done. Right, so this is pretty much what we're left with after we've let it sit there for a while. Notice that it's kind of, it's still got its juices to it. Oh my gosh, it looks so good with the little chili peppers just sitting on top. So the best way to do this is however you're going to serve it, you can go ahead and serve it. I just want to show you what it looks like, in a pan. And the garnish for the recipe is to sprinkle it with some green onions. You can sprinkle whatever you want. I really enjoy green onions. So to me, it's only common sense for me to throw green onions on top of it. And there you go. Korean beef. Easy money. Enjoy.